Even the cypherpunks that had been trying to solve this problem for 40 years, when the Bitcoin white paper hit the cypherpunk mailing list, which was where it was originally released, they read it and they came to the same conclusions I would have come to, which is, hey, it's unlikely that this guy who none of us have heard of has solved a problem we've been trying to solve for 40 years. And it's unlikely his solution is going to work for the 5 to 7 technical reasons that I would have come up with. Now, what do we know 17 years later? The answer is we know we were all wrong. So I know I would have been wrong. The vast majority of people early in Bitcoin were wrong. They turned it on, they played with the software, they said, hey, this makes my computer run hot. This thing's probably never going to work. And so they turned their computer off. They stopped the software running. And in the background, it would have accumulated a few thousand Bitcoin for them, worth a few $100 million today. But again, they turned it off because it made their computer run hot, and they just didn't think it could really work in the real world. And if you don't think it's going to work, there's no reason you would leave your computer on back then mining Bitcoin. Now, today you can't mine Bitcoin by turning your computer on. You have to have massive data centers to mine Bitcoin right now. But back then, anyone with a computer could mine Bitcoin just by downloading the software and just leaving their computer running. And it made your computer run hot because it worked the microprocessor really hard. But other than that, you just wake up in the morning and, overnight, your computer had mined 50 Bitcoin. Or, even a year in, you could mine, 50 or 100 Bitcoin in a week. I would have done what most people did. Even the ones that didn't completely dismiss it, they dismissed it near term and then came back to it when they're like, wait, Bitcoin's still around in 2012, 2013. It had been 3 or 4 years. They're like, this thing's still running? And then they would have gone and done what I would have done, which is they would have said, wait, what about the 5 or 7 reasons that this thing couldn't possibly work? How did that actually work out? And they would have researched it and they would have been like, oh, I get it. It has to have the 10-minute block times for these reasons. It has to have a 1 megabyte size limit on the blocks for these reasons. It's going to work this way. The Bitcoin mining works the way it does for a reason. The difficulty adjustment works the way it does for a reason. The halving works the way it does for a reason. All of those things are things that after 2, 3, 4 years, everybody could figure out how they worked and why they were necessary. And frankly, why they were the only way to solve the problem of digital scarcity. But again, that's why most people then came back. The very early people in Bitcoin were coming back and buying Bitcoin at $100 a Bitcoin rather than mining it almost for free. I know almost nobody that mined Bitcoin in the early days. The vast majority of them did exactly what I would have done, which is they read about it, they dismissed it, they played around with it, they decided it wasn't worth it, they moved on, and then they circled back later when Bitcoin was a lot more expensive.